Good morning to Miss Raihan. I'm Shani, and then my group member will be Kathy, Weekend, and Kate. And then our observation is on the topic of students' behavior, and our objective is to identify the social behaviors that are related to the sociology theory. First, our setting will be in UCSI library, and then our target group is UCSI students. The observed periods has been divided into 3 sections, which is the first section on Monday, 23rd of June 2014. The time will be 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. And then second section will be the next day, Tuesday, on 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. And the last section will be Tuesday on 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Based on our observation, the behavior will be related to few theories. The first one will be subculture, and then the definition for subculture is defined as subculture is the world within the large world of dominant culture. And we also included how people experience the world in their life and create their own way of thinking to view the world. Another definition for subculture is as more people doing it, the subculture will become the mainstream culture and embracing its own unique style, which means that the behavior itself will become a habit of a group of people, and then it becomes the subculture within the group. So based on our observation, the subculture among UCSI students is listening music with headphones. Among the 3 sections of observation period, we have observed that most of the students in UCSI, they listen music with headphones and they behave silent and talk less. They enjoy being alone to doing stuff like doing assignment or even watching video, and it become a trend among UCSI students. Based on this behavior, most of the UCSI students, they listening with headphones, they are less communicate and interact with people. So this is one of the behavior, and it becomes a habit of students. They are less interact with people. Besides that, they enjoy being alone and listen to the music. It is become an unhealthy trend of behavior, so it's something that should be correct in this subculture. So I'd like to pass the next part to Candy.
Hi, I'm Liu Kathy. So the next theory that we discuss is language. According to Hafland Mifflin Harcourt, language is a system of verbal and sometimes written representation that are culturally specific and convey meaning about the world. Humans have started to communicate with each other through symbols in the past. Then evolution happens, which humans begin to speak and develop language where they are allowed to deliver message and to exchange their ideas. Based on our observation that we conducted in the library, at the designated study area, some of the students are studying and busy doing revision. Some are isolating themselves from others by enjoying their world with their laptops, and some students are chatting and laughing in lower volume. Through our observation, most of the students speak to each other in English, some in Chinese, while some are speaking in other languages. Among them, the topic of conversation are more emphasis on their coursework. So language is very important to every aspect of our daily life, and people share their perspective and experience in order to achieve a stage of mutual understanding. So although the students in the library are talking and discussing, even it is not allowed to, as it was stated on the sign. As a result, what we observe is that they are exchanging their ideas, opinions, and concepts through the conversation, which shows the power of language that is our everyday interaction. This happens likewise to those students that are in the designated discussing room. The discussion rooms are equipped with whiteboards. Thus, students are allowed to discuss and deliver their message with this useful tool. Then, the concept that is connected to our observation in the library is gestures. So, according to Hansley, gestures are defined as the use of motion as a means of expression without saying it out. In the library, an observed scene of students wave to their friends who have just reached the study area in the library. Through our observation, these gestures allow their friends to identify them without the act of shouting or making noise that will disturb other students in the area. And another example for gesture that we observe is when a group of students are done with their discussion. Some of them make the OK sign and leave the place without saying a word to answer to the lecturer that dismissed the meeting. Therefore, it implies a meaning of acceptance to the lecturer's instruction. Meanwhile, some gestures are universal. For example, a student smiles to her friend after they stand up from the table. This actually indicates that they had a happy gathering. So, however, in some cultures, their gesture have a different meaning and varies compared to others' culture. So, as an instance, an international student was sitting with a Malaysian friend in the library, and a discussion between them is carried out. In the midst of their conversation, the Malaysian student show the international student with a gesture by waving her hand slowly in front of her mouth, like this. But the international student did not understand what her friend was doing until she was told that her friend was actually asking for a tissue paper to wipe her mouth.
So now I'm going to present about the term material culture based on my observation. So material culture often carry a specific meaning or definition in a society, and it's usually communicative and representational among the society. So it also indicates the relationship between the artifacts and social. It's a culture that shows how people use concrete and tangible objects to represent specific meaning in the social. So, for an example, using the rain, it's a physical and also human-made object. So it has a in-depth meaning in the society, especially for the very present. For the people who are wearing a ring on their ring fingers, it represented they are married in the society. So using the same theory applying to the UCSI students, for those who are sitting in library, it actually I'm substituting the ring with smartphone. Smartphone nowadays are getting advanced, so it is almost capable to do anything, especially texting and social network searching is a very fundamental communicative method in the society. So, based on my observation, I can see that many students in the library, they are using the phones whenever boring, or they are having a break, or they are trying to communicate someone, they do not call, but they are more likely to play games, texting, and also playing the Facebook, which means searching the social networks. So they became less talkative in reality, but more active in the virtual world. So this is even they are sitting with their classmates face to face, they are also playing with their phone. They always face their phones only. And not only that, fashion is also another example of material culture. Most of the students of UCSI University, they are dressing very fashionably, also up to date to what is currently popular in the society now. According to my observation, so now current styles is so easily noticeable. Those high-waisted shorts and skirts, also with the crop tops, is a strong evidence of what is popular in Korea, has a great influence to our students. Thank you.
Asan. Okay.
So the next term will be secondary growth. It is defined as the people who cluster together pursuing towards a mutually shared purpose or goal, which is impersonal. So this group of individuals, they are not close to each other and have lesser emotional ties. Also, their functions or goals are usually the same. These relationships, they can only last for a very short period. They involve very narrow range of activities. For example, only in they are sharing the same interests, same workplace, or in the same class. But this relationship is also possible to transform into primary growth if they found a very strong ties among each other. So there are more, in UCSI University students, they are more likely to gather in this form of secondary growth. This is mostly because of they have the common goals and common purpose during their university period. So, for example, they are taking the same course, same subjects, or they are usually working out together for a same assignment. Their conversations are mostly based on the assigned task from teacher. So they share their opinions in discussion, and also they have less to almost none contact about each other in their personal life. So this also indicates that they often grows up in voluntary to their wills for pursuing a same results. So there is this example that all the members of Psychology Club, they gather in the discussion room and share their opinions to discuss about the event they are going to help, meanwhile improving their teamwork and cooperation.
I would like to discuss about the term deviance based on our observation. Deviance is a behavior that violates social norms and usually disapproved by the majority of society because it's typically outside the norms. Different or unexpected are often used to describe deviance from sociological perspective. Deviance could also be criminal or non-criminal act. In our observation, UCSI
Sometimes students love to bring food and eat in the library. We can use field theory to describe this act of deviance. For the first theory is primary deviance. Primary deviance is any action that is opposite of what one had learned but is acceptable. It is the non-violations that most people take part with little harm to self-concept. Students will bring food and eat in the library because they think eating in the library will not affect others. So it only have little harm to their self-concept. So they think this action of deviance is acceptable. For the next theory is Sutherland's differential association theory. This theory means that frequency of association is the central to the development of deviance. As the frequency of students eating in the library increase, it causes an impact and encourage other students to engage in this action of deviance. The other student will follow the student that the deviant student to do the same action because the deviant student do not receive any punishment. For the last theory is social control. It means that delinquents fail to form or maintain a bond to society that consisting of attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief. It means if students have a strong attachment, commitment, involvement, and belief, they would not engage in this deviant action. Therefore, if students have a strong commitment to the rule of UCSI library, they would not perform this action. Okay. The conclusion is, in this observation experiment, it makes us more aware of the importance of sociology to our society. A person could bring influences to society as well as the world, while the society could bring impacts to a person too. We learn to accept other culture by the cultural relativism. We also learn to adapt these changes to our surrounding when we meet friends who are come from different ethnics and country. Therefore, this observation experiment